Good evening and welcome to the 2055 Florida Transportation Plan statewide webinar. My name is Amanda Carpenter and I am the Community Planning Administrator with the Florida Department of Transportation. We are excited to launch community engagement for the 2055 Florida Transportation Plan Update, also known as the FTP. During this webinar, we will also provide an overview of the Community Engagement Plan created by the Florida Department of Transportation to describe the multiple opportunities for you to stay involved during the update of the FTP. In a few moments, we will share a short presentation on the FTP. We encourage your feedback in tonight's meeting, and there will be multiple ways to submit questions and comments. After the presentation, the study team will respond to frequently asked questions submitted during the webinar. All questions and comments received during this meeting's live chat or online will become part of the public meeting summary. This public meeting was advertised in multiple ways, including on the FDOT public notices and FTP websites, emails to interested persons that have signed up for the FTP notifications, various social media platforms, and on the Florida Administrative Register. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with state and federal requirements, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express their concerns about Title VI may do so by contacting Stefan Kulikowski, State Title VI Coordinator, by mail at 605 Swanee Street, Mail Station 65, Tallahassee, Florida 32399-0450, by phone at 850-414-4742, or email at stefan.kulakowski@dot.state.fl.us. I will now turn it over to our study team to provide instructions on how to participate in this GoTo webinar.
Good evening. I'm Dawn Malaturno, a member of the study team. This webinar is being conducted virtually as a statewide event to kick off the 2055 FTP update. The presentation will provide communities throughout Florida with information about the FTP development process and multiple ways to provide input. This meeting is being conducted virtually through GoToWebinar and is being recorded for the website. After tonight's meeting, the presentation will also be available on the project website at www.floridaftp.com. For online participants, the GoToWebinar control panel should be visible in the upper right corner of your computer screen. If joining GoToWebinar on your mobile device, simply tap the screen to see the toolbar to display the same options. In a few moments, we will share a presentation. After the presentation, we will provide time for you to ask questions and receive feedback from the study team using the question box on the control panel. The blue arrows point to where you will find the question box. You can type a comment or question into the question box on your computer or mobile app. Then click Send to submit your comment or question to the study team. If you happen to experience technical issues during this meeting, please type the issue in the questions box on the control panel on GoToWebinar, or send an email to jospirece@qcausa.com. You may also call 352-397-5880. Staff will do their best to assist you. And now we will begin the formal presentation portion of tonight's webinar.
Thank you for joining the 2055 FTP statewide webinar. During the webinar, we will introduce the Florida Department of Transportation, give an overview of the past, present, and future of Florida's transportation system, introduce the 2055 FTP, provide ways that you can engage in the FDP update process, and end with a question and answer session. We will begin the presentation with a quick introduction to the Florida Department of Transportation, or FDOT. FDOT considers each community's unique vision and transportation needs when we plan, design, construct, operate, and maintain projects for our transportation future together. FDOT's mission is to provide a safe, statewide transportation system that promotes the efficient movement of people and goods, supports the state's economic competitiveness, prioritizes Florida's environment and natural resources, and preserves the quality of life and connectedness of the state's communities. We serve the people of Florida by providing a transportation network that is well planned, supports economic growth, and has the goal of being congestion and fatality free. With billions of dollars invested in Florida's transportation infrastructure each year, FDOT has identified several key focus areas as we consider transportation needs. FDOT's focus is to ensure our communities are at the center of everything we do, and Florida's transportation system serves the community needs. FDOT will continue to prioritize safety, enhance the long-term resiliency of Florida's transportation infrastructure, ensure there is an efficient supply chain to get products and services to you, incorporate innovative technologies that advance our transportation system, and create workforce opportunities to build our transportation system together. Florida is the third most populous state in the country and continues to grow at a record pace. As more people call Florida home, with a population of over 23 million and over 140 million annual visitors, we must carefully plan Florida's transportation system for our future families and neighbors. With the 14th largest economy in the world, Florida's transportation system is also critical to national and global goods and services. As part of the FDP and the long-range transportation planning process, FDOT will partner with cities, counties, regional metropolitan planning organizations, and regional planning councils to understand each community's unique needs and priorities. Your engagement is essential to help us plan better together. As the state continues to experience rapid population and tourism growth, it is important to understand FDOT's past, present, and future initiatives. The transportation network in Florida has changed dramatically in the past 30 or so years. Nearly 35 years ago, Tri-Rail first started temporary commuter rail service in Southeast Florida in 1989 during I-95 construction, which later became permanent. LYNX, the transit system serving the Central Florida area, was formed in 1992 from Tri-County Transit Service. Also, 30 years ago, the opening of two new roadways, the Veteran Expressway in Tampa and the Seminole Expressway in Central Florida, provided major improvements in regional connectivity. And the introduction of SunPass in 1999 provided new technology to expand toll interoperability statewide. Do you remember a time before these services? Past investments in Florida's transportation system have resulted in multiple diverse transportation facilities, including airports, transit systems, shared-use trails, spaceports, and seaports, to meet the needs of our residents and visitors, and ensure that people and goods can move safely throughout the state. Fast forward to today, our transportation network has evolved into a robust and interconnected system, including all modes of transportation, from seaports, highways, transit, rail, freight, spaceports, and bicycle and pedestrian facilities. Our communities are at the heart of everything we do at FDOT. Florida is home to densely populated coastal communities, areas highly impacted by seasonal and visitor populations, and many thriving rural towns and smaller cities. Understanding Florida's regional and statewide trends and conditions, along with their unique challenges and opportunities, will provide a framework to develop statewide goals, regional objectives, and empower communities to develop local strategies during the 2055 FDP update process. Information on Florida's statewide and regional trends and conditions can be viewed as a story map or PDF on our website at floridafdp.com. The FDP is not just for us, but for future generations. It is a tool that will help envision the Florida transportation system for their future. Next, we will introduce the FDP and review key aspects of the update process. The Florida Transportation Plan, or FTP, is more than just a plan. It's a forum for regional collaboration to connect communities, policies, and programs across the state. The plan is a comprehensive statewide blueprint guiding Florida's 30-year transportation future. The FDP's transportation policy lays the foundation for investments in FDOT's work program. Updated every 5 years, the FDP is a collaborative effort of state, regional, and local transportation partners in the public and private sectors. The FDP will be developed in alignment with state statutes. Florida Statute 334.046 requires the plan incorporate FDOT's mission, goals, and objectives. In addition, the collaborative effort and vision for the plan development meets the requirements set forth in Florida Statute 339.155 to consider the entire statewide transportation system and all modes. These statutes require the plan be updated every 5 years, be developed in cooperation with the metropolitan planning organizations, and in consultation with affected local officials in non-metropolitan areas and with any affected Native American tribal governments. In addition to state requirements, the 2055 FTP will be updated to meet all federal requirements. These align with the previously mentioned state statutes and reflect the collaborative efforts and key priorities outlined in the plan update. The 2055 FTP will reflect both a statewide and regional approach, incorporating community values and needs. During the FTP update process, a streamlined steering committee of key stakeholders will guide the development of the goals, objectives, and policies that make up the plan, and will outline a common transportation vision for the next 30 years. The FTP will set overarching goals for the state and define objectives based on input from Florida's different regions and encourage local communities to create their own strategies. Our partner agencies and stakeholders will use the plan to develop their own transportation strategies and connect the plan to future transportation programs, ensuring each community's unique needs are addressed. To make the FTP accessible, all information will be communicated in plain language, so the plan and concepts are easy to understand. The FTP will be updated with statewide and regional collaboration through steering committee guidance, focus group support, and comprehensive community engagement with partners and the public. FDOT strategically assembled a 16-member steering committee to provide broad representation of state, regional, and local stakeholders. The steering committee, in collaboration with FDOT, will guide the development of the goals, objectives, and policies that make up the plan. Throughout the FTP update process, the steering committee will meet 6 times. All meeting materials presented at the steering committee and meeting summaries will be available on the FTP website. Steering committee members represent all modes of transportation across the state, in addition to statewide, regional, and local organizations shown here. Kim Holland, FDOT Assistant Secretary of Strategic Development, is the steering committee chair, and a list of the steering committee members is provided on the FTP website. 5 focus groups have been developed to provide a forum to address more targeted discussions on the goals and objectives. The focus groups will provide input to the steering committee at key milestones. Each focus group will be centered around one of the major topics listed here: safety, resilient infrastructure, economic development and supply chain, technology, and workforce development. The 2055 FTP update process is currently in the visioning phase, and your input on the vision for Florida's future is integral to this process. Visioning will include the identification of trends and conditions shaping Florida's future and involve collaboration on the long-range transportation vision for the state. Next, the statewide goals and regional objectives will be identified and finalized. Based on the vision and continued collaboration on transportation perspectives, opportunities, and challenges, the FTP goals and regional objectives will be developed based on input received. Finally, the plan will be developed based on the outcomes of the visioning and development of the statewide goals and regional objectives. While the FTP guides our transportation future, it is not a list of projects. The FTP will empower Florida's communities to develop local strategies around the FTP framework. Statewide, regional, and local transportation agencies will use the FTP to guide their future transportation programs. We will now review how you can get involved in the 2055 FTP update process. The FTP website at www.floridaftp.com will serve as a comprehensive resource for our communities and partners to view updates during the plan's development. Please visit the website to review meeting materials and summaries, view advertisements for upcoming meetings, and provide feedback throughout. The website will be updated regularly to provide information as it becomes available. To effectively involve everyone in developing the FTP, let's review the opportunities described in the Community Engagement Plan. First, the Steering Committee guides the creation of the 2055 FTP. Second, 5 focus groups will provide input to the Steering Committee at key milestones throughout the update process. Third, through statewide webinars, we will connect with you in our communities to provide updates and receive feedback. Finally, regional workshops and virtual open houses will be held at key milestones to allow you, our local community members and partners, to share regionally focused feedback. Active engagement is critical for shaping a successful plan for Florida's transportation future. In addition to the FTP website, we will use virtual rooms where you can interact with plan documents and materials, and will send out digital newsletters to provide updates on the FTP process. Make sure to sign up on our website today. Additionally, we will coordinate with local agency partners to provide updates at local events within your community. All engagement tools will offer an opportunity for you to provide feedback. The timeline for developing the FTP, shown here, includes tentative dates for key outreach activities, including the Steering Committee meetings, focus groups, and partner and public engagement opportunities. After this extensive outreach, the public comment period for the draft FTP document will take place from September to October 2025. The final adoption of the FTP will occur in November 2025. All engagement opportunities and tools are described in the Community Engagement Plan. The Community Engagement Plan describes planned public and partner engagement activities and can be viewed on the website at floridaftp.com. This plan provides early and continuous opportunities for engagement during the development of the Florida Transportation Plan. Public comments on the Community Engagement Plan will be received 45 days from the time the draft plan is published. Today, your input will be considered before finalizing the Community Engagement Plan. Following today's presentation, focus groups will begin meeting in July 2024, followed by the second Steering Committee meeting in August 2024. Regional workshops will be held in September, so be on the lookout for notices inviting you to attend a meeting in your area. Public feedback is encouraged by completing the FTP survey accessible on the FTP website.
Good evening. We will now begin the question and answer portion of the webinar. Your questions or comments will be responded to via live chat. As a reminder, questions or comments can be submitted anytime online visiting the floridaftp.com website. Before we start, let's briefly review how to provide comments using the GoToWebinar live chat function. Please enter your questions into the questions tool shown here. We will answer questions as they are received via live chat. We may not have time to answer all questions we receive during the webinar, but the study team will be providing answers to those afterwards. As a reminder, you can use the questions tool by clicking on the question box in the control panel. You can then type a comment or question into the question box on your computer or mobile app. The information you enter in the box will be viewable by the study team during this webinar. All questions and comments received during this meeting's live chat or online will become part of the public meeting summary. If you are having a technical issue during this portion of the meeting, please type the issue in the questions box on the control panel or send an email to Josh Pierce at josh.peiRce@qcausa.com, or you may also call 352-397-5880. We will keep this information on the screen during the question and answer portion of the webinar in case there are any technical difficulties. Now we will begin answering questions received from the public. Let's start with the first question. It is, how can I stay engaged with the FTP planning process? This is a great question and one that I'll answer. We've identified several different ways you can stay engaged during the FTP update. Our goal is to provide meaningful engagement opportunities with two-way communication between FDOT and the public, our partners, the steering committee, and focus groups throughout the FTP development. The FTP website is the best way to stay continuously updated by reviewing steering committee and focus group materials, providing your input, and keeping up to date on upcoming events. Multiple opportunities for collaboration include statewide webinars like the one we're hosting this evening, regional workshops, and other events held during the update process. One way to stay connected is to sign up for updates using the Get Involved button on the project website at floridaftp.com to receive advance notice of upcoming meetings. FDOT will also be working with our partner agencies to identify other outreach opportunities using their existing meetings, workshops, social media videos, and webinar capabilities to bring awareness to the process and allow for input. If more detail on specific engagement activities is needed, please be sure to review the Community Engagement Plan on the FTP website or provide your questions either tonight or on the FTP website, and we will get back to you. So let's review the next question, which is also related to engagement. It is, how can I get involved in a focus group? Jennifer, would you like to explain how to join a focus group?
Sure. If you're interested in getting involved in one of the 5 focus groups, sign up online at floridaftp.com. The focus group meetings are chaired by a member of the steering committee and are open to the public to participate. Anyone that signs up online will also be sent information on how to join the next focus group meeting. Up to 5 meetings are planned prior to the steering committee meetings, and the focus groups will also meet as needed during plan development. Each meeting will be held in person with a virtual option.
Great, thanks, Jennifer. Brian, can you share more about getting involved in the regional workshops that are planned?
Yeah, the regional workshops are being planned for September this year. FDOT will be hosting public workshops in each of the 5 major regions in Florida, including Northwest, Northeast, Central, Southwest, and Southeast areas of the state. Stay tuned for more information on how you can participate virtually and in person on the FTP website. To receive email notices about the upcoming workshops, don't forget to join the mailing list on floridaftp.com.
Great, thanks, Brian. We'll look forward to seeing everyone at those regional workshops. The next question is, will I get to comment on the draft Florida Transportation Plan? Jennifer, would you like to give us some details on this?
Yes, everyone will be provided an opportunity to review and provide comments on the draft FTP document. When the draft FTP is ready for public comment, it will be made available for review on the FTP website. Notice of the public comment period will also be published using FDOT's primary website the FTP website, and the Florida Administrative Register. Also, everyone who joins one of the mailing lists on the website will be notified when the plan is available for review in fall of 2025. Every comment received will be reviewed by the study team and carefully considered. Every comment will also be provided to the steering committee for consideration as well.
Great, thanks for those important details, Jennifer. As a reminder, this webinar is being recorded, so you can review these engagement opportunities again later. Brian, can you tell us if this webinar will be made available online and if it will be available in Spanish?
Yes, the recording of this webinar will be posted online at floridaftp.com after the meeting. It will be available in English and have the option for English and Spanish captions. Persons who require other translation services may receive them free of charge by contacting Paula San Gregorio at her email at paulagregorio@dot.state.fl.us, or you could call her at 850-414-4811.
Great, thanks. Let's talk about the plan review process a little more. I'll ask Jennifer to answer this question. How does the plan get approved?
Well, following the public comment period, a final plan will be produced and provided to the Florida Transportation Commission for review. The FDOT Secretary will adopt the final plan. This is anticipated to be in November of 2025.
Thanks, Jennifer. The next question we want to review addresses the why of the planning process. Would you please expand on this question, Brian? Why is updating the FTP important to improving transportation in Florida?
Yeah, updating the FTP is important because Florida is a dynamic state that is continuously growing and evolving. To ensure our transportation system remains efficient, safe, and connects our communities, the FTP is periodically updated. Updating the plan is critical in guiding statewide, regional, and local decisions to direct transportation investments. A multimodal transportation system that promotes the efficient movement of people and goods is vital to keep communities connected. The FTP provides a framework for implementing initiatives and actions effectively, ensuring that transportation goals, regional objectives, and investments benefit both Florida residents and visitors to this great state.
Okay, great. Here's a question that's related that I'll ask Jennifer to elaborate on. What types of transportation projects will be part of the plan?
So this is a multimodal transportation plan, which means all modes used by people and goods to move throughout the state will be considered, including air and space travel, rail, transit, freight, travel on waterways and roadways, and bicycling and walking. The FTP is the overarching statewide transportation plan that aims to connect communities, policies, and programs across the state. So it will include a statewide policy framework applicable to all transportation assets in Florida, not just those managed and maintained by the state. The plan will not recommend specific projects, but rather will provide the statewide goals, regional objectives, and the framework for transportation agencies in your community to implement through development of local strategies, projects, and programs.
Brian, here's a similar question. What are your thoughts on how does the plan impact future transportation projects?
The FTP lays the foundation for FDOT's investments and will consider this entire statewide transportation system in all modes. It should be noted that the FTP guides our transportation system future, but it is not a list of projects. The FTP will set overarching goals for the state and define objectives based on input from Florida's different regions and encourage local communities to create their own strategies. Our partner agencies and stakeholders will use the plan to develop their own transportation strategies and connect the plan to the future transportation programs, ensuring that each community's unique needs are addressed.
Thank you. And we're looking forward to every community's engagement in the FTP plan. The next question is for Jennifer. How will the FTP affect funding?
Well, the FTP lays the foundation for investments in FDOT's work program, and it aims to connect policies and programs across the state. So as part of the FTP and the long-range transportation planning process, we will partner with cities, counties, metropolitan planning organizations, and regional planning councils to understand each community's unique needs and priorities. Through this collaboration, the FTP aims to guide and prioritize infrastructure investment through better connection of the regional objectives to FDOT programs, enhancing the link to regional community needs and priorities.
Thanks, Jennifer. Brian, will you take the next question, which is changing to a bit more of a technical focus? It is, what will the plan do to help address safety?
Eliminating roadway fatalities remains the highest priority for Florida and FDOT. Even a single death on Florida's transportation system is unacceptable. We recognize achieving zero fatalities and serious injuries will not be easy and will require commitment, energy, and innovation. As we discussed earlier, 5 focus groups will address more targeted discussions on statewide goals and regional objectives. The focus groups will provide input to the steering committee at key milestones. One of these is safety focus group that will serve as an advisory body for the development of Florida's strategic highway safety plan as well, which is being updated during the same time as the FTP. The safety focus group will coordinate with partners, including safety coalitions, to analyze data and pair with other statewide and national trends to identify safety needs and guide investment decisions towards strategies and countermeasures that have the greatest potential to save lives and prevent injuries. They will discuss themes, trends, and plan and implications of transportation safety systems, including data and tools for supporting strategic decision-making, such as the use of real-time data and predictive analysis.
Thanks, Brian. Let's answer another question on another one of the focus group areas. Jennifer, can you please answer, how will the plan help with resiliency?
So natural hazards and other disruptive events can have significant and unexpected impacts on Florida. Simultaneously, trends such as coastal flooding and global economic shifts can lead to progressive challenges. These events and trends can result in unanticipated transportation system disruptions and increasing constraints on infrastructure, impeding access to reliable mobility. The impact on the lives of residents and visitors, as well as the flow of business and trade, can be extensive. So it's critical to prepare Florida's transportation system to be adaptive in the face of these events and trends. The FTP Resilient Infrastructure Focus Group has been developed to consider themes, trends, and planning implications of transportation system resilience in Florida. The FTP will consider these trends as it develops statewide goals and regional objectives to improve transportation resilience.
Great, thank you, Jennifer. On a related subject, can you clarify why updating the FTP is important in supporting Florida's natural resources?
The FTP allows us to reassess and adapt to Florida's changing transportation landscape. It ensures that our policies, programs, and projects align with current and future transportation needs to preserve Florida's quality of life and prioritize Florida's natural and environmental resources.
Thank you. We've also received this question from several individuals. How will the plan incorporate technology? Brian, will you take this one?
Yeah, sure. Technology is constantly evolving and changing the way people interact with one another, work, do business, travel, and even how they buy groceries. New and emergent technologies offer the potential for a safer, more efficient transportation system, more connectivity globally and locally, and streamlined business practices. However, increased reliance on technology brings other challenges to the forefront, like cybersecurity and data privacy. In addition, emergent technologies may soon be offering new ways to get around, from autonomous vehicles to air taxis to vertiports. Transportation partners need to make wise decisions today to prepare for this future. The FTP Focus Group for Technology was developed to discuss themes, trends, and plan and implications of current and emerging technologies, identify national and global best practices for incorporating technology in transportation planning, and provide input to strengthen policies and processes for public-private partnerships involving data and technology, and identify changes needed to laws, regulations, standards, and planning processes.
Thank you. The participants on the webinar would also like to hear more about jobs and workforce development. Jennifer, how does workforce development relate to the plan?
Florida's transportation workforce provides the intellect and labor to meet daily customer needs for moving people and goods, as well as operating and managing a multimodal transportation system. Developing, attracting, and retaining a skilled transportation workforce is foundational to accomplishing all FTP goals. The FTP Focus Group for Workforce Development will discuss themes and trends in advancing regional workforce development strategies and collaborate with workforce and education partners to identify best practices for developing, attracting, and retaining transportation workers, with an emphasis on priority gaps such as truck drivers and construction workers.
Thanks, Jennifer. Brian, can you speak to a different topic, one that we're all familiar with? The question is how FDOT will address congestion or traffic in the FTP.
Yeah, sure. Florida is home to densely populated coastal communities, areas highly impacted by seasonal and visitor populations, and many thrive in rural towns and smaller cities. As the state continues to experience rapid population and tourism growth, it's important to understand each region's unique challenges and opportunities and provide a diverse transportation network to meet the needs of our residents and visitors and ensure that people and goods can move safely throughout the state. Recognizing that Florida has many diverse regions, the FTP will consider multimodal transportation options, such as intercity and commuter rail, in the implementation framework to address congestion and other transportation challenges to provide opportunities for residents and visitors to connect throughout the state. Various solutions will be explored based on the needs and transportation goals of the particular regions.
Thank you, Brian. Our next question is going to be for Jennifer. Why is updating the FTP important in supporting Florida's economy?
The FTP helps identify transportation initiatives that support economic development, job creation, business growth, and the state's economic competitiveness. A resilient transportation infrastructure is necessary to support our state's supply chain for a mix of industries and businesses to ensure goods and services reach our communities.
Thank you. There are a few questions I'd like to revisit, as some of them have come up several times during the live chat. We covered these in the beginning of the question and answer session, but let's talk about how to stay engaged in the FTP planning process by becoming involved in a focus group and more about the regional workshops. Jennifer, can you share again how to join a focus group?
Sure. If you're interested in getting involved in one of our 5 focus groups, you can sign up online at floridaftp.com. The focus group meetings will be chaired by a member of the steering committee, and they're open to the public to participate. So anyone that signs up online will be sent information on how to join the next focus group meeting. Up to 5 meetings are planned prior to the steering committee meetings. The focus groups will meet as needed during the plan development, and each meeting will be held in person with a virtual option.
Thanks, Jennifer. And Brian, can you again cover the regional workshops?
Yeah, again, the regional workshops are being planned for September this year. FDOT will be hosting the public workshops in each of the 5 major regions in Florida, each of the corners and the center of the state. Stay tuned for more information on how you can participate virtually and in person on the FTP website. To receive email notices about the upcoming workshops, don't forget to join the mailing list on floridaftp.com.
Great. Thank you, Jennifer and Brian, for all the great input and clarification during the question and answer portion of the webinar. We have time for one final question this evening, which I will answer. The question is, how will the plan help accommodate Florida's growth while benefiting communities? Our communities are at the heart of everything we do at FDOT. Understanding each of Florida's 5 regional areas, along with their unique challenge and opportunities, will provide a framework for communities to develop local strategies that align with the 2055 statewide goals and regional objectives. With billions of dollars invested in Florida's transportation infrastructure each year, FDOT has identified several key focus areas. Florida's transportation system serves the needs of each community by prioritizing safety, incorporating innovative technologies that advance our transportation system, ensuring there is an efficient supply chain to deliver goods and services, enhancing the long-term resiliency of Florida's transportation infrastructure, and creating workforce opportunities to build our transportation system together. This concludes the question and answer portion of the meeting, and I want to thank everyone who has participated. Community engagement is integral to the plan development to ensure it reflects the needs and priorities of Florida's residents, visitors, and all users of our transportation system. As a reminder, you may submit comments on the 2055 Florida Transportation Plan at any time by visiting the project website at floridaftp.com or completing a survey that is accessible on the website. If you have additional questions, you can contact me, Amanda Carpenter, via email at amanda.carpenter@dot.state.fl.us, or you can contact Brian, and his email is brian.atts@dot.state.fl.us. On behalf of the Florida Department of Transportation, I would like to thank you for attending the statewide webinar and providing your input on the 2055 Florida Transportation Plan. Have a good evening.